Hey there, toy collector friends and Star Trek fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. This is the Triple TC, that's the time travelling toy collector, and this is the USS Enterprise F refit version as appeared in Star Trek Online and most recently the Picard. However, caveat, this is the super small version. This is the standard size edition, something I've never collected before. However, as you're possibly aware, there is currently no XL version of the USS Enterprise F. And also, because the USS Enterprise F has now appeared within on-screen canon, I thought I really need to get hold of one of these. Now, I don't know about you, but this has proven to be a phenomenally difficult ship to track down, and when you look online at the secondary market, which I have done, they're going for, and I kid you not here, and some of you will know this, but believe me, I kid you not when I say they are going for the likes of 200, 250 plus for this ship. Now, I'm obviously going to do all of the normal in-hand examinations, but I just want to show you how big this is. This is my hand. Obviously, this is the ship. This is how it sits in my hand. It is very small, certainly compared to the XL range, which is again one of the reasons that it's the XL range that I collect rather than this range. But nevertheless, I wanted an F in my collection, and now I have one, so I'm pleased about that. I'm also pleased about this because I got this one from Master Replica. I'm moving it back because this is the box that it came in, just so you can see, if you can see, Star Trek Online. It's one of those sort of front display boxes. The picture of the Enterprise there, and the registry and the refit. Some of the other products that were available from Eaglemoss back in the day. You can see those. But it is the very small version. I think it's according to the box itself, it's roughly 5 inches in length, so it isn't very big. But one of the reasons I'm looking at this, because I know it doesn't really fit in with my Enterprise playlist, although that said, technically speaking, it is an Enterprise. It's a valid entry. It's only me being a little bit of a snob that's prevented it from being entered into the range. But I got, as I say, I got this from Master Replicas, and it's a prime example of holding out and looking at reputable online retailers, because I got this for, I think it was around 35, I think it was around the £35 mark, because it was sold, you know, more or less at the going rate, rather than, you know, the realistic going rate, rather than the extortionate rate that you'll find on auction sites, which is frankly quite shocking. So it's an Odyssey class ship. I will pick it up momentarily, but because it is smaller than my hand, it is much harder, much harder for me to hold closely to the camera for you to be able to have a nice detailed look at it. However, as I started to say, sorry, one of the reasons that I'm bringing this to the playlist and to the channel now is because we've had some fantastic news. The fantastic news is that Master Replicas, who have been releasing this stock of Eaglemoss sort of past issues, have now confirmed that they have the license and will be producing more products from this old range. I'm going to zoom in a bit more because that will, I think, undoubtedly help. So we have that to look forward to. That's and I for one am really pleased and really quite excited by this, because I'm optimistic that this will mean that we will see the return of some of the XL ships, and we now have an on-screen presence of the Enterprise F, so I'm very confident that we will get a XL version of the Enterprise F, and hopefully the Enterprise G as it appeared at the end of Star Trek Picard, which I think would be a fantastic entry into it. We do still have another XL Enterprise to look at, which is a future iteration of the Enterprise, and possibly the bane of my life, but we will come to that in the fullness of time. But I wanted to get the F entry. Why does that sound slightly unfortunate? But I wanted to get the F entry into onto the channel and into the playlist, because it is a lovely ship. And actually, as I said before, I've never collected these. I have never been a collector of this smaller scale. So to actually have one, it's been quite enlightening, first and foremost, but it's also nice to have the F. You know, it's been a noticeable gap, and I was really hoping that there would be, back in the days of Eagle Moss, and I'm sure there probably would have been, an XL version of this, but of course it was never to be. So I'm optimistic now that we might be in an era where that is about to reverse, in which case I very much look forward to being able to show you an XLF iteration of the Enterprise. So fingers crossed for that, as well as other possible Picard and Discovery ships that did not make it the first time around. I also believe that they're not looking to reissue, so to remanufacture and reissue previous molds, which I think is really important to be aware of. I think what they wanted to be was respectful to collectors who had probably invested quite a lot in some of that stock. So they're not looking to, if you like, flood the market with reissues or remolds, which could then devalue other collectors' well, collections, really. But that's not really for me an issue, as I'm not looking to, and I don't anticipate needing to or wanting to sell. You never know what's around the corner, but certainly not wanting to sell. But I thought it was just worth mentioning that, because I think it's really interesting from a licensing point of view, because they aren't going to be looking at the pre-existing back catalogue of Eagle Moss and Hero Collector ships in terms of what they're producing. So they are clearly looking forwards, and I imagine that might be some more lower decks ships. It may be some stuff from maybe the Protostar from Star Trek Prodigy, and who knows what else. So I think there's some real opportunity to start to get excited about this quite soon, and I'm sure other licenses will be announced as well. And by the time this is broadcast, they may have been announced, so fingers crossed on that front. So I'm going to pick this up as best I can, just to bring it into, I'll try and leave it on the stand actually, so we can see we've got the nacelles there. As I say, apologies because it isn't, whilst some of the detailing is really lovely, it also is really, and I can't leave it on the stand, it won't work. It is also, of course, really dinky. So let's see what we can see from the underside of the saucer. Get some light there. So you can see the deflector dish there pulled out in some blue. It is reminiscent of the Enterprise E. It's a little bit reminiscent of the Voyager as well, but the Enterprise E there in terms of the structure of the saucer section. You can see some of the detailing there on the underside of the nacelles, as well as the surface detailing on the underside of the saucer section, which is really good. And then we'll flip it over to this side. And I do like this Federation livery that is visible. Excuse my big sausage fingers there. But you can, it's a very well detailed, and I don't think this has ever been an issue for me in terms of these ships. And it possibly brings into stark focus some of the issues others have had with the XL paint job. I'm just going to show you, don't know if you can see that very well, I'm trying to be gentle with it, that, where are we, there we go, that the neck section is actually either side of the main drive section, so there is that gap between the saucer and the drive section. Hopefully you can see that there. But we also have, there's the registry at the front there. Hopefully you can see that. Enterprise NCC 1701F. There's the bridge. So I really like the detailing on this. I think the nacelles are sufficiently different. I think we can also, hopefully we can see There's some registry there. Can you see that when it focus? Here's the USS Enterprise and the registry again on the edge of the nacelles, and that duplicates on both sides. It's a really nice ship. My only issue is, and it reinforces the point that I've always made, is for me these are too small. To have a collection of this sort of scale would drive me insane. Not least because, I'm going to try and pop it straight back onto there, not least because they would be absolute dust magnets. And if any of you have these, by all means tell me I'm wrong in the comments, and you might have mechanisms for displaying them that helps prevent them from being absolute dust magnets. But as someone that's got enough collectible things out on display that are already dust magnets, this just screams to me that it would contribute to that dust magnet factor. Any collectible, to be fair, that you put on display automatically becomes, it's not something I'm anti, but I just think because there are so many of them and they are so petite in their structure, I could just see it like a starship's domino effect, and it would be absolutely diabolical if that occurred. Yeah, I'm already getting cold sweats thinking about it. Anyway, I love the look of the ship. Don't get me wrong. The fact it's tiny is not, it's not about the size, apparently. But I do hope very much that the F and the G will manifest as full-size XL, not full-size, but XL edition models in the new wave that Master Replica will be releasing with their own license in the future. And I'm very excited for that prospect. So let me know in the comments below if you feel the same way. Whilst you're down there, could you possibly also smash the like button, just so we can take on the evil empire of the algorithms of doom? And also a subscription to the channel would be fantastic. I'm working my way towards another milestone, as some of you will already be aware if you've watched other videos, and it would be great if you could subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing apart from a quick click, and then it's entirely up to you whether or not you want to watch the next ones that comes along. It may or may not appeal to you, but something might. And of course, shifty through the playlists, you may find other things already on here that will catch your attention. Thank you so much for spending the last 13 or 14 minutes with me. You have been a wonderful audience. I've been the time-traveling toy collector, and this has been the diminutive USS Enterprise F from Star Trek Online and Star Trek Picard, but produced in the standard size Hero Collector and Eagle Moss version. Do I think it belongs on your shelf? If you can get it for a reasonable price, go for it. I would suggest hanging on, like I'm about to start to do, for what is optimistically going to be the XL version of the Enterprise F, and for that I cannot wait. So it just remains for me to say, take care, and remember that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Bye bye for now.